How's it going, everybody? For today's beer review, we're going to be taking a look at the Mississippi Brewing Company's Mississippi Mud, a black and tan porter and pilsner beer. So what do we have here exactly? Well, from what I've read online, and I'm still going to go into this with an open mind, but from what I've read online, we have here a really crappy beer with a really awesome bottle. And literally, almost every single review I read of this beer, people say, yeah, I bought it just so I could have the bottle, or I bought it because of the bottle and ended up not liking it. And truthfully, before I even purchased this, I had read and that there were a lot of bad reviews for this beer, but I wanted this bottle strictly just to have on my shelf. If it was just the bottle alone, it's whatever, but the fact that I drank something out of it makes it special, and I want to have this to put on the shelf. It has the resealable cap and everything, so it is a pretty cool, appearance that this has. The presentation's definitely cool, but let's see what kind of information we can read here. So it says Mississippi Mud, it says famous slow brewed black and tan porter and pilsner beer, and it's 1 quart. Now, for those of you who don't know, I'm not too terribly familiar on it, but a black and tan is basically when you mix 2 beers together to achieve, like a light beer and a dark beer to achieve a unique mixture. Like you may take a Southern Tier, a Southern Tier 2X Stout and mix it with a Southern Tier Pumpkin to create like an interesting chocolate pumpkin black and tan. Truthfully, I think that Southern Tier Warlock could be considered a black and tan, possibly. There's also the infamous black and tan known as Heaven and Hell, which is where you take a Dogfish Head 120-minute IPA and mix it with a Dogfish Head Worldwide Stout. 2 of the rarest beers that they make, and if not 2 of the rarest beers in the craft game, mixed together to create this ultimate black and tan beer. So, that's a black and tan. Anyway. It's strange to see them mixed and in a bottle like this, though. Usually a black and tan is something you either do at your house or it's done in-house at a brew pub where they'll have a special on the board. It's not something they'd ever bottle. They'll just say, oh, here we have a black and tan called yada yada, and it's this beer and this beer mixed together. So it's weird to find it already pre-mixed in a bottle like this. On the back it says, dating back to the 18th century England, the custom of blending pale ale and dark beers has kept the black and tan a favorite of experienced beer drinkers for centuries. Our famous recipe combines a robust classic porter with a fine continental pilsner, preserving the character of each while creating the classic taste of the legendary black and tan. We'll see. We bring you the best of both beers as they meet in Mississippi Mud. And it's from Mississippi Brewing Company, based in New York. That makes a hell of a lot of sense to me. So, I'm going to be drinking this just to have a standard kind of bubbled English-style pint glass. So, let's screw the cap off of here. Alright. Cap's off. And I guess let's just give this a pour and see what it's all about, huh? Alright, straight out it looks like whiskey, which is not bad. It's a nice color to it for sure. That has got one of the most piss-poor head potentials I've ever seen on a beer, which I think is inexcusable considering the ABV on this is not listed, so it's probably like 5 or 6% at most. So, the head sucks. I mean, there's no head. The color, though, is decent. It's just a very dark mahogany brown with maybe some very light orange tones in it, as you can see there. The smell... Now, I won't lie to you. I'm actually enjoying the smell pretty thoroughly. It's got a really good amount of malt, and it actually tastes like... It actually smells like it's been smoked somewhat. So it's taking on those Scotch ale kind of peat smoke characteristics. Not really smelling much on the Pilsner side, but that's good because I think Pilsners are boring, most of the time at least. Yeah, I mean, it's simple but bold. It has just a very, very smoky malt aroma to it. It's not bad. If I didn't know any better, I'd think it was a Scotch ale. So, it's doing pretty good so far. Let's give it a taste and see how it is. You know, it's definitely not the worst beer I've ever had. And it's not even a bad beer. It's decent. What this tastes like to me is kind of a toned down Scotch ale with a little bit of nuttiness in it, like a brown ale. If you've ever had like a hazelnut brown ale, it has that kind of nuttiness to it. And it also has a decent amount of smoke and malt. It kind of drinks like an interesting Scotch ale. If you've ever had Bellhaven's traditional Scotch ale, imagine that, but just a little bit weaker. I'll level with you, it's not bad. It's quite sessionable for what it is. It does have a very watery, thin body. It could do with a little bit of a thicker body on it. All in all, though, it's drinkable. I think this would make for an excellent transition beer into the craft beer world, basically. Somebody who's kind of already on to the darker stuff, like a Shiner Bock or, Sam Adams Boston Lager, or even Guinness. Guinness, actually, no, it's a little stronger than this, so Guinness is you're getting there. But people who drink strong or darker beers, but are wanting to get into something, a little more out there. This would be a good transition beer, I think. To any kind of seasoned craft beer drinker at all, though, if you have any experience on your belt, it's not really impressive, but it's not bad either. I think, though, it's worth it for two reasons. It's a good drinking beer. I could sit down and just drink this. I'm going to drink this straight out of the jug, and it would be great on a hot day. It's sessionable. It's not a sipping beer. You could really gulp this stuff. You get a cool bottle at the end of it, which I can't wait to display on my shelf. And this stuff was like $3 for this huge bottle of it, so it's not a bad deal for price. You'd think they would charge you more because of that cool bottle, but they don't. So my score, I don't really know how to give it a style rating because a black and tan is not really a brewed style. It's a mixture of two beers. Overall, for how much I'm enjoying it, I'd probably give it somewhere between like a 58 to a 60. It's alright. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not nasty. It doesn't taste bad. It's just not very good either. It's just like, it's okay. So, that has been my review of Mississippi Brewing Company's Mississippi Mud. If you see it, I say get it, if not for anything else but the bottle, because it'll look cool on your shelf. Hope you guys enjoy the beer review as always, and stay tuned for the next one.